Chosen one, don't scroll away too fast, because what you are feeling right now, the curiosity, the pull, the sudden attention toward this message, is not random. There is a reason this has reached you at this exact moment. Something in your emotional world is shifting, and whether you realize it or not, you are being guided to pay attention before you walk into a trap that many people never recognize until it is too late. Stay with this message until the end, because what you are about to understand may completely change the way you see love, timing, and connection. There are moments when life brings people into your path who don't match your expectations. They don't look the way you imagined. They don't arrive at the right age, the right time, or in the right form you planned for. And yet, something about them feels undeniable. Something about them feels familiar. Something about them feels like it bypasses logic and speaks directly to your spirit. This is where many people become confused, and where the trap begins. Because the dangerous trap is not love itself, it is assumption. It is rushing into meaning without understanding timing. It is attaching emotion to someone before discernment has been developed. It is believing that every strong feeling must immediately become action, commitment, or destiny. And this is where many chosen ones lose clarity. Now listen carefully. The message, "they're younger than you," is not about limitation. It is about perception. It challenges what you thought love was supposed to look like. It breaks the pattern of expectation. It forces you to question whether you are leading with logic alone or whether something deeper is trying to get your attention. But not every connection is meant to be rushed into definition. Some are meant to be understood slowly. There is a reason this person feels different. There is a reason your attention keeps returning to them. And there is a reason your emotions are being tested right now. But feelings alone are not enough to determine destiny. Timing, alignment, maturity, and purpose all play a role in what is truly meant for you. The shock that God may be revealing in this situation is not simply about age. It is about contrast. It is about showing you that true love does not always arrive in the packaging you expect. It challenges your assumptions. It stretches your understanding. It forces you to grow before you decide. But here is the trap. If you move too quickly, you may mistake curiosity for confirmation. You may confuse emotional intensity for spiritual alignment. And you may attach yourself to something that was only meant to teach you, not define your future. Chosen one, you are not being asked to reject love. You are being asked to recognize it with wisdom. Because real love will never require confusion, pressure, or fear. It will not force you to abandon your peace or lose your direction. It will not rush you into decisions that your spirit is not ready to carry. So before you assume anything, before you act on emotion, before you label what you are feeling, pause and observe. Let truth reveal itself in time. Let actions speak louder than imagination. Let consistency define what is real. Because what God is showing you right now is not just a person. It is a lesson in discernment. And if you understand it correctly, you will avoid the trap that has misled many and step into a clarity that protects your future. Stay aware. Stay grounded. Stay patient, because what is truly meant for you will never confuse you for long. It will confirm itself in peace, not pressure. Chosen one. Why this message found you at this exact moment is not something to overlook or dismiss lightly, because timing is often the first language of meaning. When a message interrupts your normal flow of thoughts, when it makes you pause even for a second before scrolling away, it is often because something within you is already aligned with what is being said. You may not fully understand it yet, but your awareness is being activated in ways that are subtle but significant. There are seasons in life when information arrives not to entertain you, but to awaken you. Not to give you answers immediately, but to make you ask better questions about your current path, your emotions, and your decisions. The feeling that this message is for you is not random. It is often connected to what you are currently experiencing internally, whether you have spoken it out loud or not. Sometimes people find themselves at emotional crossroads where confusion, curiosity, or uncertainty begins to grow quietly in the background of their thoughts. In those moments, even simple words can feel heavy with meaning because they reflect something already active within the heart. That is why this message feels different. It is meeting you where your thoughts already are, not where you pretend to be. The danger, however, is assuming that every emotionally charged moment must immediately be acted upon or interpreted as destiny. Many people miss clarity because they rush to assign meaning before understanding has fully developed. What you are experiencing right now could be awareness forming, not conclusion already established. It could be reflection beginning, not direction already decided. The purpose of this moment is not to push you into urgency, but to slow you into awareness, to help you observe what is already influencing your thoughts before it becomes a decision you cannot undo. When you recognize why something has reached you, you also gain the power to respond with wisdom instead of impulse, and that is where true understanding begins. Chosen one, the hidden emotional trap most people do not see, is not something loud or obvious. It is subtle, gradual, and deeply persuasive because it works through feelings rather than facts. It does not appear as danger at first. Instead, it often arrives as comfort, curiosity, attention, or emotional excitement that feels meaningful. The trap begins the moment a person starts trusting intensity over clarity. When emotions feel strong, people assume the connection must be significant, but intensity alone has never been a reliable guide for truth. Many have stepped into confusion because they equated emotional activation with destiny, not realizing that feelings can be influenced by timing, loneliness, imagination, or unmet needs. The trap grows stronger when someone begins to prioritize how something feels over what is actually being shown through consistency, actions, and reality. In that space, imagination fills in the gaps. A small interaction becomes a sign. A passing thought becomes meaning. A coincidence becomes confirmation. Slowly, perception shifts away from truth and moves toward interpretation, and that is where misalignment begins. The emotional trap also feeds on anticipation. It keeps the mind occupied with what-if scenarios that feel exciting but lack grounding. These thoughts can become addictive because they create emotional stimulation without requiring real-world clarity or accountability. Over time, a person may become more invested in the idea of a connection than in the actual evidence of it. This is how distraction takes root quietly. It does not force itself, it invites itself. It does not demand control. It earns it through repeated emotional reinforcement. The most dangerous part is that it often feels meaningful, even spiritual, even destined, when in reality it may simply be untested emotion growing without direction. Chosen one, this is why discernment is essential. Not every emotional signal is a message from destiny, and not every strong feeling is a path you are meant to follow. Sometimes the greatest protection is the ability to slow down, observe clearly, and allow truth to reveal itself over time instead of rushing to define what has not yet fully formed, ensuring your heart remains guided by wisdom rather than emotional illusion. Chosen one, what they're younger than you truly means spiritually is not simply about age in a physical sense, but about timing, maturity, and the unseen lessons embedded within connection. Life often uses contrasts to reveal growth, and one of the strongest contrasts is where two people meet at different stages of emotional or spiritual development. When this happens, it does not automatically signal wrongness or rightness. It signals awareness. It is a mirror that reflects how far you have come in your own journey, and whether you are prepared to handle the emotional responsibility that comes with certain connections. Sometimes a younger presence in your life represents something pure, unfiltered, or unshaped by the experiences that have hardened you. It can awaken emotions you thought were settled, soften areas of your heart that became guarded, or remind you of simplicity you may have lost along the way. But it can also create confusion if you interpret that presence through assumption instead of understanding. Spiritual timing is not always aligned with emotional excitement. Just because something feels meaningful does not mean it is meant to be acted upon immediately. The younger-than-you dynamic can also reflect energetic differences. One person may still be learning, growing, or discovering themselves, while the other has already gone through certain lessons and developed different levels of emotional awareness. This difference does not determine value, but it does influence direction. When two people are in different stages, the connection often becomes a space for reflection rather than immediate conclusion. It teaches patience, observation, and restraint. The danger arises when one person assumes that emotional attraction automatically bridges developmental gaps. Without wisdom, that assumption can lead to imbalance. Where one person carries expectations, the other is not yet equipped to meet. Chosen one. Spiritual meaning is not meant to push you into decisions. It is meant to bring clarity before decisions are made. So when you encounter something that feels unusual or unexpected, especially in matters of connection, it is not a signal to rush, but a reminder to understand. Because true alignment does not confuse your spirit, it clarifies it over time and allows peace to guide what is real. Chosen one. The unexpected nature of true love connections is something most people only understand after they have been surprised by it themselves. Life rarely delivers meaningful connections in a predictable or neatly structured way. Instead, it often introduces people through timing that feels inconvenient, circumstances that seem uncertain, or situations that challenge your expectations entirely. What makes true connection different from ordinary attraction is not how it begins, but how it continues to reveal itself over time. At first, it may not make logical sense. It may not match the picture you had in your mind of what love should look like, sound like, or feel like. And yet, something about it keeps returning to your awareness. Not because it demands attention, but because it quietly resists being ignored. This unexpected nature often confuses people because they try to measure it using familiar standards, age, timing, background, or external alignment, when in reality, deeper connections often operate beyond surface-level logic. They challenge your assumptions and invite you to grow in awareness before making conclusions. True love connections do not always arrive with clarity at the beginning. Sometimes clarity develops through experience, patience, and observation. What feels unexpected may simply be unfamiliar, and unfamiliarity often gets mistaken for uncertainty. But not all uncertainty is a sign of wrong direction. Sometimes it is a sign that you are encountering something that requires deeper understanding before judgment. The human mind naturally tries to categorize experiences quickly, but the heart often needs time to process what it is being shown. This difference between immediate interpretation and gradual understanding is where confusion often arises. Chosen one. What you are being reminded of is that real connection is not defined by how quickly you can explain it, but by how truthfully it reveals itself over time. If something is truly aligned, it will not rely on urgency or pressure to prove itself. Instead, it will unfold in a way that brings clarity, stability, and awareness as it progresses. And when you allow yourself to observe rather than rush, you give truth the space it needs to become visible without distortion. Chosen one. Why you must guard your heart in this season is not a warning meant to close you off from life, but a reminder to protect the most influential part of your inner world. Your heart is where decisions begin long before they become actions. It is where perception is shaped, where meaning is assigned, and where emotional responses are formed. When your heart is open without discernment, everything that enters it begins to influence your thoughts more deeply than you realize. This is why guarding your heart is essential, especially in seasons where emotions feel heightened, connections feel intense, or new attention begins to enter your life unexpectedly. Without awareness, it becomes easy to absorb feelings that have not yet been tested by time, consistency, or truth. Many people mistake emotional intensity for safety, believing that what feels strong must also be right. But feelings alone are not stable foundations. They are signals that require interpretation, not immediate obedience. Guarding your heart means learning to pause before attachment, to observe before assumption, and to understand before commitment. It is not about rejecting connection. It is about ensuring that what you allow into your inner world is aligned with peace rather than confusion. When the heart is unguarded, external voices can begin to shape internal decisions. Opinions, expectations, and emotional reactions can slowly take the place of clarity. Over time, this can lead to decisions that feel right in the moment, but lack long-term alignment. Chosen one, protecting your heart also means protecting your direction. Every emotional investment carries weight, and where your emotional energy goes, your focus naturally follows. If your heart is scattered, your purpose becomes harder to see. But when your heart is grounded, your decisions become clearer, your boundaries become stronger, and your path becomes easier to recognize. Guarding your heart is not isolation, it is wisdom. It is the ability to remain open without becoming unstable, to remain caring without becoming compromised, and to remain aware without losing yourself in the emotions of others, ensuring that every connection you allow into your life adds clarity rather than confusion to your journey ahead. Chosen one. The truth they are afraid to tell you is often not as complicated as it feels. It is usually a mixture of uncertainty, emotion, and fear of being misunderstood. People carry thoughts and feelings silently because they do not always know how they will be received. They rehearse conversations in their mind, imagine different outcomes, and delay honesty because vulnerability feels risky. In moments like this, silence is not always rejection, and expression is not always certainty. It is often hesitation in its purest form. The truth they are holding back may not even be fully formed yet. Sometimes a person feels something strongly but lacks the clarity to define it, so instead of speaking, they remain in observation, trying to understand their own emotions before revealing them to someone else. This internal conflict creates a space where imagination grows and assumptions begin to fill the gaps left by unspoken words. You may sense intensity, curiosity, or emotional weight from their side, but what you are sensing is not always a finished truth. It is often a developing one. This is where misunderstanding can easily occur. People tend to assign meaning to silence, but silence can carry many different explanations, not just one. Chosen one. What matters most is not decoding every unspoken thought of another person, but recognizing where your responsibility begins and ends. You are not required to interpret every hidden emotion or solve every internal conflict that someone else experiences. Their clarity is their journey, just as your clarity is yours. If something is meant to be expressed, it will eventually find its way into words at the right time, in the right way, with the right intention. Until then, speculation can easily lead to distraction, and emotional guessing can pull you away from your own path. The most important truth remains unchanged. Your peace, your focus, and your purpose are not dependent on what someone else is afraid to say, but on how firmly you stay aligned with what you already know to be true within yourself, allowing life to reveal what is real without forcing answers before their time. Chosen one. As we reach the final moment of this message, everything comes down to one powerful truth. Clarity is protection, and confusion is where most traps begin. Whether it is emotions, connections, dreams, silence, or unspoken feelings, none of these things are meant to control your direction. They are meant to be observed, understood, and processed with wisdom, not rushed into decisions that your future self may have to repair. Throughout this entire message, you were reminded that not every feeling is fate, not every attraction is alignment, and not every intense emotional experience is a signal to act. Some things are meant to be witnessed, not immediately followed. Some connections are meant to teach you patience, not urgency. And some moments are only meant to strengthen your discernment so you can recognize what is real and what is temporary. The dangerous trap was never just about another person, a dream, or a sudden emotional pull. The real trap is losing yourself in interpretation instead of truth, in assumption instead of awareness, and in emotion instead of grounded understanding. When you begin to prioritize clarity over curiosity, you naturally step out of confusion and into peace. So take this as your final reminder. Guard your heart, protect your focus, and slow down before assigning meaning to what has not fully revealed itself. Let time confirm what is real. Let actions speak louder than thoughts. Let consistency define what is meant for you. If something is truly aligned with your life, it will not require you to chase it blindly, decode it endlessly, or sacrifice your peace to understand it. It will unfold with stability, not chaos. It will bring clarity, not confusion. And it will strengthen your path, not distract you from it. Chosen one. Your journey is not defined by what confuses you. It is defined by how wisely you respond to that confusion. And every time you choose awareness over assumption, you move further away from traps and closer to alignment with your purpose. Stay grounded. Stay focused. Stay wise. Because what is truly meant for you will never lose you in uncertainty. It will guide you into peace, understanding, and direction that feels right in both your mind and your spirit.